Quiet.
Oh, here we go. All right. So, hello, live on Facebook. Here we are. And I see Joel is not here yet. And Mohammed is so excited. He's new to International Children's Month, and he has a lot of ground to cover and a lot of energy, I'll tell you what. So, welcome everybody to the International Children's Month Global Day of Action. My name is Heidi Little, and I am the co-founder and director of International Children's Month. I don't think I said that at all today. And it is actually a Creative Commons public domain, and so the platform is all of ours. And it's been a very gifted day with Raheem Fatima, who's 13, co-hosting all day with me, and we've done many lives. And this is my favorite panel and some of my favorite people right here. We are the Center for Advancement in Social Emotional Learning, and I'm very excited to introduce you to Letha Mignon and Karen and Joel. And I'm going to have each one of them introduce themselves and say whatever they would like to say about themselves. And then we'll start exploring some questions about how do we build a world that works for all, which is our theme for the day and this year. And, social emotional learning, what are we doing and how's it rolling out and what have we got? So, Letha, you're right here on my screen. So why don't we start with you?
Hello, everyone. My name is Letha Mignon. I live in Texas, and I am a mother. I am of a lot of children. I am a musician, singer, songwriter, performer. I am a caregiver, and a lot of other things. Social emotional learning has done a very good job with me in my life. Certainly just helping me sort all of these things out. So I can at least start with that.
Fabulous. Thank you, Letha. Karen?
Hi, my name is Karen. I also happen to be a parent, a mother of 4 adult boys, and an early childhood educator and a family coach, very passionate about working with family. And what is so exciting to me about the Center for Advancement in Social Emotional Learning is that I recently became a trainer, and just within the last few months. And this past 2 weeks, I had a lot of family challenges. And before I took the social emotional learning training, I felt like I really had pretty good handle on my status with social emotional being in the world. And I just know that people around me have watched my changes, and I think that when we get to what I love about this program is it goes directly to the heart, embodying who we are within our heart first. And when we're able to do that, I know that I watched my capacity to be with a child in the hospital and other children visiting and handling everything, the capacity expanded. So that's what we're going to get to talk about as we continue on today. But that's what I'm most excited about, being here as a trainer with the center.
Thanks, Karen. I appreciate you. Letha. Joel?
Hey, how are you guys doing? I'm Joel Bauman. I do many different things, music, professional athlete. And on top of that, I do some energy work, hypnosis, neurolinguistic programming, stuff along those lines. Made my name kind of known in the sales and personal development world. And now we're here helping people be better and be their best and most optimal selves. So glad to be a part of history.
Oh, awesome. Fabulous. I spent a day with all kinds of people talking about education and how are we going to move forward and what are we going to do and what does it look like and how can we help build a world that works for all. And I got to tell you, I was expecting very diverse and interesting responses, and I got that. But there was a theme, a common theme, and the theme was, connecting people to themselves. That peace was going to come from the person. It wasn't necessarily going to come from the government. Some people said it wasn't necessarily going to come from the school systems or any of that. It was going to come from entrepreneurial type people that were really caring for humanity and for the stasis we're in. Who are we? What are we? What are we doing here? And how do we feel about that journey? Yeah. So when you guys hear how do we build a world that works for all, because that's what we've been exploring all day. I don't even know how to get off that track anymore. So, what you all bring a unique and beautiful set of gifts, right? And that's the point to the modules that we've done, right? The stacking certifications were all about bringing out you and your gifts and giving some tools to help connect you to your heart. Okay. So now, you're all amazing. So what's your answer to that question? Like, how do we build a world that works for all? It's pretty hard out there for a lot of people right now. What you got? Do we want to go in the order in which we introduced ourselves in?
Okay, I'll go ahead. So I did the most terrifying thing in my life this past weekend, other than birthing my first child. I gave a speech at Juneteenth, and mixed reviews. Of course, I expected that. I guess my point in that is that building a world that works for everyone, when everyone has a different point of view of what that looks like, I guess this is the trick we're really looking for, is the unifying thing and bringing ourselves back to a place of healing. It is difficult to fix anything under duress. And when we're angry, we're under duress. So and this is what I attempted to project in my speech, and I think some people got it, some people did not. It's the fact that we need to love first, connect to ourselves first, connect our heart light, then move forward. And, for some, there was a breath of fresh air, like, oh yeah, I get it. And then other people just shaking their heads like, you're out of your mind, and so everything that works tells on itself. Even things that don't work will tell on themselves, but the things that work are the things that do sustain. So I do believe that moving forward with what we're already doing right now, watching the ripples that have already been created just through myself in training, and I know that the rest of you have spoken about the changes that have happened in your life, not just for yourself, but for those around you. And watching how other people regard me and how other people are regarding themselves, just because of little things that I'm doing and saying, it really is a beautiful process when it comes from the heart. So my answer to that is, let's move forward with what we've begun, because it does seem to be working.
That's nice. Yeah. Thanks, Lisa.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. And just that theme, I mean, it almost sounds simple, or I'm going to even say the word trite. Yet what I watched over these past 2 months is it really goes back to, I do have control over myself and how I love myself. And if I'm struggling with loving myself, or I have feelings of unworthiness, what I experienced is additional embodiment techniques that we practiced in the stacking certifications. And it's like when I meditate consistently, all of a sudden there's order in my home. I'm just naturally organizing things. When we can embody our heart light, our heart seed, our own light, there's this, I mean, this sort of this magic change from within. And so what I got to reflect on in these past couple of months is, I still have people around me that I'm in conflict with. And they're choosing not to show up. I've asked for conversations, I've asked in different ways, and there continues to be silence or no response or simply, no, I don't want to talk. I can't change that. Yet I know that within my heart, loving myself and moving forward in the ways that I know how is what is going to shift our world. People, if they are so stuck and they don't have that love for themselves, or they're not able to embody their light, that is where we're stuck. And that's what we've seen in our world for so long. So I just have really reiterated how much getting connected to our own hearts is so important. And people, when I've put that out there, I have had people flat out say to me, I don't know how to do that. I hear you. I understand what you're saying. Connect to my heart. I understand even you say, put my hand on my heart and feel that I love myself. I don't know how to do that. And that's where a lot of our work is.
Disconnect that needs to be healed. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing and being in a vulnerable space to share too, so people know that it's real. Like, we all have things in our lives that we're dealing with, and we deal with them by leading with the heart in the best way forward. And, you know, I see such strong people in front of me, you know, well balanced and strong people. And I mean, that's priceless, what I see in front of me, you know, and the radiation of your being is, you know, I was talking with that about that to people today. It's like when you show up in a new way, in a way that is loving and has that foundation behind it, it makes a difference to everyone around you. Whether they can talk about it or not right now, they'll come to the terms where to the table at some point, right? Or they won't. Like, you know, it's that, what do they say? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, kind of thing. But, you know, it's like everybody wants to come home to themselves in some way. And that's, I think, how we're going to heal everything. It's just by having people come home to themselves, and what they're going to show up at just the right time, right? Like when they're ready, because you can't force a flower to open. You know, you have to just let it unfold. And we know enough to not cast shadow or put any judgment on any place anybody's at, right? Like that's what we've embodied, is just a strength of presence that's in the power of the heart. That's just the way it is. That's all there is. And when there's that, then all there is possibility, creativity, happiness, optimism, good health. You know, it's interesting. It's such an I've had such an interesting day. Joel, Karen,
I want to jump in before Joel, if
Yeah.
you don't mind, just to add on that, because the difference of how I showed up with several conflicts happening right now in my world. In the past, I would have got so caught up, and I call it the riptide of the emotion, and I would have talked more about it with people. Can you believe they're not even responding? Can you? No, I couldn't even go there because of social emotional learning, because I'm more embodied in that acceptance, that non-judgment. And that's a big piece too, because I'm not putting energy out there that is going to stir the pot, so to speak.
Or bounce back on you. But like my little
Right.
Muhammad has said all day.
Even when, because I have a big community here at the Wonderful Blessed, even when people have come to me and asked me what's going on, and I have chosen to say, this isn't an area that's necessary for me to talk about. It's between me and this person, and it will get handled when we're ready. And I know on my side, so that's powerful, because, you know, a few years back, I would have been more immature about it because I was so hurt. I still hurt, yet I'm not caught in that riptide of emotion.
Right.
Yeah.
Get the heart in the center no matter what's going on. Yeah. It's amazing. Thanks, Karen. I appreciate that share. Yay. Okay, Joel, how do we build a world that works for all, my friend?
Karen, do you hurt? Or is it that you feel so much love that it hurts to see someone else not be able to reach that own level of love and understanding for themselves, that they have to sit in their own misery? You see that? I don't think any of us are hurt. I think we are programmed to feel what does not serve us. We are programmed from a young age. And you see, that's what all this social emotional learning, this journey that we're on is ultimately, I believe, one of remembering our own love of self, like you talked about. So many people are taught to remain negative and are taught to remain in disgusting behavior patterns that don't serve them to their highest optimal self. And that's, again, people choosing not to be optimal, choosing not to love themselves. Why wouldn't you want to love yourself?
Right.
Somebody says, I don't know how to connect to my heart. Why wouldn't you want to know how to do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the real questions. And if you're not even answering those questions for yourself, why are you avoiding your own happiness? Why are you avoiding your own love? I feel that's what the main focus of what our mission is. My mission in life has been to teach others how to love themselves. I got into personal development, like I said, at my early 20s, and sales, and around me I was accelerating, and everybody else around me wasn't necessarily accelerating at the same rate as I am. And I'm like, why don't other people see it? And I used to make myself feel bad. I used to make myself, when I saw somebody else wasn't being as optimal as they could be, it really impacted me. And then I had to realize that's their journey. My journey is to live in love and be the highest example of possibility for myself, so that they then can see and feel my light and want to entrain to that frequency, oscillation and entrainment. We cannot, two frequencies will oscillate, spin at the same rate. And then as one is spinning up here and one is spinning up here, guess what has to happen to that frequency? If you're spinning fast enough up here, it has to entrain. Women with their cycles, fish swimming, it's all a part of oscillation and entrainment. And we must entrain to a higher frequency and live in that authenticity. And by living in that authenticity, we then can heal the world, because we ourselves are accepting our own healing. But we can't accept our own healing until we accept our own love. And that's why I had to ask the question, are you really hurt? I don't think you're hurt. I think you're a perfect being. Just a matter of us acknowledging that, and everybody acknowledging that. Because if we're made out of the image of God, then we're perfect. It's a matter of remembering our own love.
Aww, right? Exactly. So social emotional learning goes into those areas. It does self, it does family, it does community, it does the world. It handles our relationship within within and amongst those areas. And we have all come to value on this panel ourselves as love in action, as the island. Um, What do you think? Because we literally have what everyone was asking for today. So I'm kind of at a space of awe, you know what I mean? Like after what we've been through, and like, building the whole thing and getting us all launched, and now we're training people, and also, the modules are for anyone, children, youth, parents, adults, they can all go ahead, and it's a guided module, how does that make you guys feel, knowing that every single person I spoke to today was asking for exactly what we have? Like now what? You know what I mean? Like we're the first ones we're the first ones to have accomplished this. And now we're going to flow out into the world and meet people. And I don't know, I just kind of want to know where you guys feel like we're at. Like it's been almost a month, right, since everybody's pretty much like certified and ready to rock and roll. And we're making phone calls and we're meeting in community and we're doing the business. And hearing me tell you that every single person today was asking for your expertise and the knowledge that you have, and they all want it. It's like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like asking you that question. Like, how does that make you feel? I don't have any expectations of an answer at all. I'm just giving you a mirror of what I was given today, and I'm reflecting it back to you all, because it just, like, I didn't realize that was going to be my takeaway for an entire day of 9 hours of panels that my 13-year-old ambassador from International Children's Month pretty much put together half of them, and the best ones were by a 13-year-old, I'll be quite honest. She did such a great job. What do you guys think about that? What are your thoughts and your feelings moving forward? What do you have to say to people out there that are like, wow, what is this thing? And, I don't know. I have a million questions for you. So just tell me what you guys think about.
I think it's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
It's nice to see her passion and her level of knowledge.
You talking about Raheem?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to see her encouraging other children. So I
know, right?
I'm honestly
Like,
blown away by that.
Like people who've been in education for 50 years who founded like Progressive Ed. They're 40 years my senior, 30 years my senior. They were asking for what we have. Literally saying, we need a curriculum that teaches people how to connect with the heart. And they didn't know me. They didn't know who I was. You know what I mean? Like I didn't open the conversation by telling them what we do or who I was or what I founded. Like Raheem was running the panel and they literally were saying like, we need a curriculum that's based in the heart and how to work together with family and community and the world. I mean, everything that we have and everything that we do. And then they were like, but not necessarily a curriculum, something that's more like a project, and I was like, oh my God, like we're talking about embodiment practices, right? Like we're not talking about like sit in your chair and listen to me talk. Like that's not what this is, right? So can you guys tell people what this is so they know, so they can join us too? Because I'm just like blown away by what I heard today, and everybody's saying that they essentially wanted exactly what we had. So I mean, I've got these sitting in front of me. There's the pedagogy, right? Of why would we teach love? Why does it matter? And all the different people in our lives that have said that it was important, like Sangay and Gandhi and Louise Hay and Wayne Dyer and, like all kinds of different people. Steve Miller, not the band guy, the educator guy, the Quakers. I mean, just like all kinds of stuff.
I look at it this way.
Tell me.
I just had another competition that I took on 4 days notice. And the reason I took it on 4 days notice is because I knew I was ready. And I knew that this would propel me forward into the life that I have imagined for myself and that I once did when I was dreaming up the life that I wanted to live. So if you're not truly where you want to be mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, relationships, whatever, you are holding yourself back from that by you not embodying your highest frequency. Right after I won that fight, I just got off the phone call today with the Star Tribune paper up in Minneapolis, where I'm from. And this gentleman who had interviewed me a couple years ago, back when I got in trouble, if you know my past or my history, I kind of made some international news outlets for my athletic career in college. And what the NCAA ultimately had done was take away my scholarship because of what's called the amateurism rule. To yesterday, the Supreme Court just ruled 9-0 to let athletes get paid off of their likeness. So I was one of the catalysts to kick that over. And for the last however many years, I've been getting paid off my likeness. I've been embodying what I am. Would I believe myself to be at the highest level? And now here Heidi is saying, we have something by basically us just being what we are, attracting each other, because we all attracted each other. We all came together. We're all doing this now. You're saying that people want what we have. No, people want what we are. That's the point. It's teaching people how to be what they are, which is love, which is optimal. If you're not optimal in all regards, you are imbalanced. Let's be balanced. Come to our heart, be balanced, right? Why do we do this? Because we put this at our heart, right? Let's be balanced and ascend, because that's what we're here to do.
Right. Perfect. Thank you. That's exactly what I was. Bring it into the room. Thank you. Good.
So in answer to the question, I realized I didn't answer the question. Moving forward, and how do we speak about this? I mentioned it in my speech, and I, did a very diluted version, unfortunately, with the circumstances at hand. However, I recognize how it is possible to bring this forth almost anywhere. It takes practice, and I think continuing to have conversations with one another about situations that happen and how we are able to move through that and bring it back to the place where we are sharing with one another. I think that will help a lot.
I have to give Letha a shout out because you guys, she stood up at a Juneteenth celebration and proceeded to teach an entire crowd how to connect to their heart. An entire crowd of people. That's what our brave Letha did over on the weekend. And that takes some courage and some proverbial balls for sure to stand in your light like that and to do that for a whole crowd. I've done it. I understand. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's fantastic. And I never really gave you the props on the day of because you were deflating and doing your thing.
I was exhausted from the heat.
Taking it easy and whatnot. But, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. And I know that people out there who hear this will appreciate you for that because that takes courage. And that's the courage of the heart. That's leading with the heart. That's what that is. Being able to stand up in any space or place and showing people the way forward. So I just want to give you props for that because that was pretty good. It was pretty courageous in a good, fun way. I appreciate that. Karen, anything you want to add to that?
I want to reflect a little bit on, I do sometimes tend to reflect on the parts that frustrate me yet. And so one of them is, and it's why I do what I do, is as you've heard each of us say in a different way, we're born this way. We're born as love. Children know who they are. It's something I've always said as an early childhood educator. The children know who they are. Let's talk to the parents to help the parents foster their children's innate gifts and their natural pieces of love.
The whole child. Yeah.
And so this is why I'm so passionate about this because in the past we are still seeing so many children struggling. And that's why, Heidi, you're doing everything you're doing, the International Children's Month. It's why we're here. And I also have the belief that we're at such a tipping point. This shift can happen. I mean, Joel, when you articulated, it reminds me of this really instant. I am love. And I knew that as a child. And I did let myself get sort of smaller and smaller and smaller in my belief, given the way I was, the schools that my parents chose for me. And when I'd speak up or be all this, kind of get squashed down. And it's just, enough is too much. Like that our children, I'm so grateful when we see these strong voices in our children, and there's so many more children, that we want at this younger age for their parents to be offering these embodiment practices for themselves, because the children are naturally already being their heart and being their light. So I would love to see the way, Letha, you just, did that talk, to have one of our youths Even this week in World Unity Week, have them lead the Heartseed meditation. Have them in the pep rallies at school. Imagine that before the football game.
That should be normal.
Before the football game. I mean, maybe I pledge allegiance to my heart and my heart seed, and we put that out to the stadium.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Thanks for planting that visualization, because that's amazing. We're here, we're doing it. So, you're meeting the certified train the trainers for the Center for Advancement Social Emotional Learning right now. And if you want to join in on exploring your self-love and your fullest potential on planet Earth, we're here to help with that. And you can do it self-paced, and you can pick up the modules even from Amazon and read and guide yourself, and that's fine too. There's 8 in the stack, plus a couple of partner curriculums to help. This is integrating 4 7 directions medicine, as well as self identity, and not who we've been told we are, but who we really are, who we came here to be, and finding that out, your purpose and your mission and your goals and what you're doing here, and your special gifts and who you are in the world, and how you can be that island out in the world with community and your people and your family. And you can show other people by being embodied, like these beautiful people that are sitting here with me today. Self in relation to community, how to take it out into the community. Self in relation to the world, how do we deal with spirituality? How are we helping people come home to themselves and to feel like it's okay what their belief systems are when it comes to their spirituality? Who are you, and what are you doing here, and how are you going to move forward in the greatest way for you? And the classroom and community as a social system. We had an entire conversation today on what a classroom is, and a classroom can be anything. A classroom can be your car, the grocery store, the library, Mother Nature, the forest, the swimming pool, a real classroom with brick and mortar walls, any kind of space. And then, especially if we're transforming systems in a loving way, not a disruptor way. I heard disruptor talk today. We're not that. It's a parallel road on the road of love without disrupting anything. Just brings it in. Simple and easy and graceful. Creating safe and brave spaces. What does that look like? What's your safe and brave space? How is it manifested? How do you know what to do with it? How do you make it happen? And restorative circle work. We're moving back out into the world again, and there are a lot of people who are harmed from what's been happening, their isolation, their depression, being trapped in their minds. How do we help people to feel a part of what we have created for them as educators, as parents, as community members? And then how are you going to move forward? Is it just for you? Or are you going to design something? Do you have a program inside of you? Or do you want to join us and train other people how to move it out into the world? And I am absolutely honored to be sitting here today with everybody doing what we're doing. And I can't think of a better way besides music. Of course, music goes completely with the heart though, right? Like Joel knows, Karen knows, Letha knows, in order to play music, you have to be connected to your heart. You shine your beautiful light, and you feel free and happy and healthy. So, and then they were talking about project-based learning, and I don't know if I ever showed you guys this, but one of the things, and I never showed anybody this today either, but one of the things that I made was a musical that's based in the social emotional learning practices that you do with your audience, which is why I was giving Letha the props for teaching the Heartseed meditation out in the community, right? Like here we break the fourth wall, we breathe together, we imagine together, we visualize together, we do all of it. And it's just a skeletal structure so that people can go ahead and feel into what the production is going to look like, into project-based learning. So, it's been a beautiful journey with you guys, and these guys are the bomb. So, we're here. If you go to seladvancement.org, you can read all about what we have going on. I wanted to introduce to the world's first social emotional learning train the trainer educators on earth. These are them, and you're looking at them, and they're beautiful, beautiful people with gorgeous stories and so much to do and be in this world. So it's been an honor and a pleasure to have you all here with me and to just speak your truth out into the world. And long live social emotional learning and love of the heart and connection to the heart and humanity's rising. And that's all I have to say. Do you guys have anything to say in closing?
Thank you, Heidi.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
Here's to ascension.
ah, yes. Yay.
And thank you, Joel. Thank you, Karen. I know this has not been easy work, so it's really nice to see it all come together.
Good work.
Yeah,
It's
amazing.
easy and it's not. You know, I was just
Right. Easy, not simple.
It's like on
Simple,
one
not
end, it's
easy.
like
Something.
deep diving, cultivating and doing the work and getting it done and being accountable and to ourselves, right? And doing the practices and getting it done. And on the other hand, it's like, oh, this is exactly what it always should have been anyway. So it's perfect, you know? So it's just like, it's just this. And then just you guys all showing up in your balance and your being. I'm just, yay.
There is an effortlessness and a grace to it. It's really beautiful when we're embodied in our light and love.
Yeah. And we respect, love, and care for each person's unique set of gifts and who they are here and empowering them to cultivate it. So, welcome to social emotional learning because this is going to be the next 20 years. And here it is. And we love you. We thank you. We respect you. And that's who we are. So, signing off from myself, Heidi Little, and Letha, Karen, Joel, and Raheen is going to be doing the self-paced modules herself and launching the teen section for Pakistan come the fall. So we'll be seeing more of you. And thank you. Yay. All right. Love and light. Everybody take care out there.